So everybody and their grandmother has been talking about how generative AI is the greatest business opportunity of all time. But all I see on the internet is people talking about new business opportunity. There are people online that say that you can start an AI agency, you can start an AI agent startup. But what if you already have a business or a career for that matter? What if you have already put in 10, 15, 20 years into this? You can't just snap a finger and uproot everything and start from scratch again. What you need to understand is a framework that defines how you can deploy generative AI within your work so that you can also get the benefits from it. If you are a decision maker that wants to make a decision on how to deploy generative AI but doesn't know where to start, this video is going to outline our first principles framework that you can use to actually go through with that. To set the context, I'm Hitanshu. I've been working with applications of generative AI for almost the entirety of the existence of this technology. I have helped enterprises apply generative AI technology within their workflows that has saved them thousands of hours in manual labor and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's begin. So grab a piece of paper and pen and draw out the actual process that you want to automate or that you want to aid with generative AI. Maybe there's a workflow within your business that you think could be optimized. Maybe there's a workflow that needs optimization, but you just don't have the resources to do it. For example, it may be a sales workflow. A lead comes in, it goes to the sales rep. The sales rep gets the lead. He dials the number, he talks to the customer, he gives his pitch, maybe he closes, maybe he doesn't. Now at a high level, this entire process seems very straightforward. And if you now try to automate this entire process at once, you probably won't be able to do it. As we sit in May of 2025 when I'm recording this, the technology is not mature enough to actually handle such a workflow, as simple as it may sound. But now what I need you to do, now you've listed out each of the individual steps that goes on within this workflow. Now you must break this process down even further. A simple step in this process, the sales rep gets the details of the lead and he calls them. But within doing this entire thing, there are still multiple processes that the sales rep had to do. He must have received the lead in the form of maybe an Excel sheet or maybe a PDF or just a document or maybe in a piece of paper. He would then have to get the number from the source into his phone and then he obviously has to dial it. Now it may seem like these are all redundant things, but this is where efficiency gains can be achieved with the generative AI. When you break down longer processes using this first principles approach into very small biteable chunks, generative AI can add immense amount of value. You won't be able to automate your entire sales process for a while, but until then you can automate these small key things. For example, now instead of just giving the sales rep the number, what if you can place an AI agent in between which can just replace the pitch that the sales rep is going to give and contextualize it based on who the lead is. Let's say you're selling accounting services. Instead of giving just a generic pitch, what your sales rep can do is with the help of an AI agent contextualize the entire sales pitch. So now your sales rep is not going to sell them something very generic. You might be able to sell them very specific needs of their business. Now what this process of breaking down your business like that into small individual steps will do is it will actually give you a lot of clarity in how your business works. A business is like a well-oiled machine, and for you who runs it or run a part of it, you're like the engineer or the mechanic that is working on it. Maybe you don't need to change a bolt or a washer, but you should absolutely know about every single one of them. Because here's what I've seen with businesses happen. A business leader would go to ChatGPT and he would say, how do I automate my sales process? And ChatGPT will give him a very well articulated, well researched step-by-step process on how to do it, which is not at all relevant to him because he won't be able to execute it, because the people that are able to execute it are maybe 1,000 in the world that can automate an entire sales process. For all the hype, all the automations and all the things that you see on the internet, when you actually start deploying it at scale, the technology is very new. So instead of thinking that you need to run your entire business on AI, otherwise you might as well not do it, you must break down the process into smaller and smaller chunks and trying to automate and optimize those using AI. And now instead of asking ChatGPT how to automate the entire sales process, you should ask ChatGPT, how do I get details of a lead that are stored in an Excel sheet to my sales rep? And in the middle, how do I put an AI agent that actually does the research and optimizes the sales script for the sales rep? Asking this very targeted question will give you a very targeted answer that you will actually be able to execute. And this is the approach that you must take if you want to implement generative AI within your existing business or your workflow. And once you have built a lot of these small automations, you will realize that the efficiency gains actually compound. Now, if you're wondering what are the 3 principles that you need to follow to actually implement AI within your business, I made a video about it. It's on your screen right now.